Hello and welcome to another episode of In the Studio. Today I'm joined by Sheila Halliwell, who's going to show us this really cute notebook and pencil set, all on a little cute plaque, which would make a perfect gift for anyone in your life. Hi Sheila, welcome along.
Hello, thank you, Katie.
Now you've got a lovely little gift idea here, or a gift for yourself, of course.
Yes, I mean, everyone can use a little notebook, so you can adapt this for male, female,
Definitely.
child. This is using Simply Floral.
Beautiful, and also some of the denim collection as well.
Yes, it is. So we've got the new denim ribbons and the actual fabric and the trims and some of those lovely adhesive stickers as well.
Fab, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, let's get started. What's first?
Okay, so first of all, I've taken one page from one of our chipboard albums.
Oh, yes.
Of which you get 6 with the little rings as well to put in there. So I've separated them and I'm going to use this as the plaque. Nice piece of sturdy cards, it's perfect for this. So we've cut a piece of Simply Floral paper, which I'm going to put on here. Already cut it to size. And this is just 6 by 6.
Beautiful.
Okay, so we'll just press that on nice and firmly.
Very nice.
Now, if you find when you've done this, you've got a slight overhang of paper or it's not quite as neat as you like, you can sand the edges.
Yes.
Just to make it flush, but I think this is pretty much, fitting quite well. So we're just going to ink around the edge here.
Yes.
So because we're using the denim blue, we're going to use some of the blue ink.
Very good.
Some of the artiste ink, and this is from one of the ink pads with the graduated blues. So we'll just take the top off there and you can see that. So you go from dark to light, so it's a really, really nice compact little set of inks.
That's really nice.
And then I've cut from the same collection, so it's the same design of paper, but using the blue instead.
Okay.
We're going to ink around the edges of this and then stick that on top. Now, before we do that, you'll notice at the beginning we had 2 holes in here.
Okay.
And we need to have those holes empty so we can thread our ribbon through. So if you take the X-cut screw hole punch with the largest head in there and go from the back, so actually sit that into the hole, do 2 or 3 pushes, and the same with this one, that will give you the perfect size holes and it's nice and neat as well. And it's good to do that before you actually stick this on, because otherwise you might cover that up and then you'll have to cut from the back and it will mess up this paper. Okay, so you can see that we can sit that just in the right place there.
Very nice.
So again, a little bit of ink around the edge just so that it stands out from the background. So now we can glue that in place.
Lovely.
Okay, so again, a little bit more tacky glue around the edge. And then stick that in place.
Very pretty.
Making sure that you leave the holes free so that we can put our ribbon through there. Okay, so we're going to use some of the lovely ribbon from the denim collection. Okay, so we're going to put this through the holes and then we're just going to tape it down at the back because we'll be covering the back as well after.
Okay.
So you won't see that. So we will now stick those onto the ribbon. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that straight through there. And then it sits nice and flat when we hang it. So what we're going to do now is use some of this beautiful denim trim. So we're going to place this right along the bottom. And again, using double-sided tape, and this is our strong double-sided tape. So we know it's going to stay in place wherever we put it.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you must be careful because one side has the opening where they've actually done the hem.
Yeah.
So make sure you do it the right way so you've got the nice side showing. And we'll place that along the bottom. And I would advise as well that you put your tape actually on your board and not on the back of your trim.
Yeah.
Sometimes that makes it kind of a little bit warped and then it won't sit straight. So we're going to add a piece of the denim ribbon across here as well. So again, put the actual tape on top of the trim and then sit that flat on there. Take off the backing. And then place that in the centre. And the good thing is as well, and this is quite strong tape, if you put it on there and it's not straight, you can actually take it off. It will let you do that. So that's one of my reasons for really liking this tape. So now we've taken one of the bows. Now the bows are quite long here, so I don't want too much of the bow to hang down. So I'm going to trim off a little tiny bit. And again, I'll still do it with the little forks in the end. And then we can glue that in place. And again, we'll do it, if we do it now with the tacky glue, it will be drying while we work on the other bits of the board. So we'll pop that just there. So what we want to do now, we're going to put a little notebook on here, and I had a tiny collection of little notebooks. So I've covered it in white card because the front of it was quite a thin paper, and it wasn't very substantial. So I've added white card at the front and the back, and then where the spine is showing here, we're going to put a little bit of trim around there. So I've covered it with tape as well, and then I'm going to just take a piece of this beautiful denim fabric. I'm going to pop that onto the bottom there. And then because I've already cut it with my scissors, the edges might not be totally straight. So I'm going to trim that now with my nice big scissors. And that will give me a nice, neat edge. So the next thing we're going to do now is I've taken from the Simply Floral collection one of the die cut notelets, and we have circular ones, so I've cut it in half. And what I wanted to do originally, I tried it this way, I tried it this way, I tried it all different ways. What I've done is I've cut around the edge here. So we cut around the big scallops so that little scallops can be used for something else if you want to. So we cut around here. And then again, we can add a little bit of the chalk onto here as well. So it just defines that edge again. And stick it straight onto here. And we don't need to do it right up to the edge if you don't want to. If the good thing to do is to take your trim and try it and then decide, you know, how far in or out you want it. So we'll probably go for about there, like that. And then from the paper that we used at the beginning on the plaque, so the blue paper, we've got these tiny doilies.
Oh, they're pretty.
So I'm going to cut the tiny doily out. And then that can go on top.
Very nice.
So the next thing we want to do is to put the trim on here. Now I'm going to leave it a little bit longer so that I can trim off, because the little notebook is actually on an angle, so I need to do that afterwards. So I'm going to use some of the strong tape, and I'm going to place it onto the spine of the little notebook and then bring that round to the front there. And we trim it. And funnily enough, the top section has actually come away.
Oh, yeah.
So we can now stick that on. So I'm going to line the trim up with the actual edge of the spine here. And then just fold that over. So we've not got any underneath, it's just to hide that, the paper cover that was on there. So just to neaten it up. Okay, and then I'll turn it over and I'll trim right up to the edge here. So now we're going to take some of those beautiful little stones. These are gorgeous. So we're going to do one here. And we're using the smallest ones. They feel really, really nice.
Always good to stroke the product.
Yeah. So now we're going to use some of the Paper Mania Alpha Minis, which are the foam letters, which we've had in the collection for a long, long time.
They're fab. I really like those.
Really, really great. You can colour them, you can put patterns on them, you know, you can even emboss them through your embossing folders. So there we go. So that says notes.
Fab.
Okay. So now we can glue that onto our plaque. So I'm going to glue it on an angle so it just slightly overlaps that section. Okay.
Very nice.
And then the next thing to do now is to make the little pocket for the pencil to go in. So we pop that to one side while that dries. And what I've done with this, I've taken a little piece of card that measures 4 centimetres by 9, roughly. And what you need to do is just fold it at a 2 centimetre mark. Now I haven't scored this, I've just folded it, and then at a 1 centimetre point, because what we want to do is overlap this so that we form that little pocket.
Okay.
Okay, for our pencil.
Lovely.
So the best way to do this is to use glue and tape as well, I think, just to make sure it's going to stay where we put it. So then we have like a little arch almost. Now obviously we need a base section in here so that the pencil won't fall through. So what I found to be the best way to do it is to actually make a little section to go on the bottom here first. So take some double-sided tape and put it around there. And what I want to do is place a little piece on here. Now I need to make sure as well that I've got enough to go around the back of here when I completely cover it. Okay, so just by cutting just a small strip like that, we should be able to just sit that over there and over here. And then we will cut a couple of little slots in like that.
Okay.
And then we chop that bit off.
Oh, yes, that's really good.
So you can see now we've got like a little base on there, which is quite tidy as well, and we know that the pencil's not going to drop through. Okay, so the next thing to do now is add more tape, and I totally trust this tape. So we will go around the top, and then we'll put a length around here as well. So it goes halfway across the denim and halfway across the card.
Okay.
So we know it's going to bond quite well. And then now all we need to do is, and I think the best way to do this, if we turn that round because that's a better edge, stick that right down to the edge there. Okay, like that. And then before I actually press it all the way around, I'm just going to cut this nice and neatly along there. So we'll sit that there. And then I've taken a tiny little pencil, which I've covered in paper to match.
Oh, that's nice.
And then a bit of blue. And you know what we could do as well to make it to a really posh pencil? We could actually add one of the gems on the top. So if we can find one that's the perfect size.
That's a good idea.
So the pencil will then go into the box, and all we need to do now is to add our 3 darker gems. Just down there, just to bring in that dark blue, like that.
Brilliant.
And then there we have our little plaque.
That's fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much for showing us that project. That's a lovely one. Thank you. If you've enjoyed Sheila's project and have been inspired to have a go yourself, why not create your own mini note plaque and upload your make to docrafts.com. It's really simple to become a member and upload your projects. If you're after more inspiration, why not pick up a copy of Do Crafts Creativity magazine? There are loads of great ideas for card making, scrapbooking and so much more. Until next time, happy crafting.